Have you had a chance to think about how our ISNs are different than the journaling we currently do? And maybe you do use ISNs. Did you give anyone any information on why you do it the way that you do? So let's talk about this a little bit and why we have interactive science notebooks. You'd be surprised how many people really don't understand why we journal this way. ISNs are different from other journals because they have a left and right side orientation. Have I given you another clue as to why we use ISNs in the way that we do? Here's one more. If you said we have a left and right hemisphere of the brain, you would be correct. What we're doing when we set up our notebooks in a left and right hand orientation is we are stimulating the sides of the brain, known as the hemispheres, the left side and the right side. You can pause the video here and write down some of these items that we have listed here for the left and right side of the brain. Remember, these are looked at as teacher notes, and teacher notes go on the right side of the notebook. Your facilitators can help you if you have any questions, but go ahead and pause the video here and write a few of these things down. So as you can see, the left side of our body controls the right side of our brain. The right side of our body controls the left side of our brain. It's kind of odd, but explains why we use the notebooks as we do. The left side of the notebook is used in creativity, response in emotions, and nonverbal linguistic expression. So drawings, labeling, big picture, creating things, making patterns, maybe even a song, or other types of mapping, and yes, even daydreaming and doodling can go on the left side of the notebook because the left side is controlled by the right side of the body, of the brain. On the left side, we see that the left controls the right side of the body. The right side of the body is taking information from the left side of the brain, which is sequential, logical, facts, words, computations, language. That's all information that the teacher gives to the student. That could be content, notes, some sort of worksheet that has information on it, a reading, etc. So the left side of the brain is looking at the right side of the notebook. To remember which side is what and where things go in your notebook, I try to think of it as I have a right as a teacher to be in the notebook, meaning all of my teacher information goes on the right side of the notebook. If you'd like to pause the video here and discuss a few more of these things, you can. Otherwise, please continue. We're going to watch a quick video. Your facilitators will allow it to play, and what you're looking for is which way does the girl spin. There won't be any music, but this is a good time for you to discuss what you're seeing on the screen with your shoulder partners. See if you're right-brained or left-brained. Here we go. So here's a few more instructions, what you're looking for. And here she is slowly spinning. Is she going clockwise or is she going counterclockwise for you? Facilitators, you can pause the video here and allow participants to discuss their findings. If you can make her switch back and forth, chances are you're 50-50. The secret is right here in her foot. So if you watch that shadow, you should be able to make her go back and forth. Pretty cool, huh? Let's go ahead and move on. Now's a chance for you to get with your moon buddy. With your new moon buddy, discuss the following questions. This will require you possibly to get up and go find your new moon buddy. Why is it important to help students develop and that use both hemispheres of the brain? What are the implications for teaching and learning? Take a few minutes, pause the video here, and have a short discussion. Be sure to share out your thoughts with the rest of the group when your facilitator gives you a signal. All of this information can actually be studied and read about in various resources. This is a book that's written by Daniel Pink that is called A Whole New Mind: Why Right-Brainers Will Rule the Future. He has some video information out there on YouTube that you can watch, but just to kind of give you a summary of the things that he talks about. He talks about that the skills of the past, such as accounting, numbers, logics, sequentials, that those skills are still important. But what we know is that people that tend to be right-brained tend to be more creative, and they also have a tendency to use the left side of their brain almost as much as the right side. It's our job as teachers to develop the hemispheres of the brains in all of our students. Interactive notebooks can act as a vehicle in order for us to be able to do that. Pause the video here and have a short discussion on your thoughts of how we can develop our students' hemispheres and the importance of that in our society. Hopefully you had a chance to talk about your students and them going forward to be successful and productive citizens once they leave your classroom. Whether you are a 5th grade teacher or you have seniors about to graduate, it is important for you to continue to develop each side of the brain in order for them to be successful and have a full, well-rounded education. Do we have to use special notebooks, or a question that I get a lot of the time? The answer is no. You have to use a notebook that's fit best for you. What we're going to do here is actually talk about the pros and cons of interactive notebooking. The next thing we need to do is add our first entry to our table of contents. So facilitators, go ahead and pause the video here and allow your participants to add in their first entry on their TOC. With your full moon buddy, you're going to create a graphic organizer to record the advantages and disadvantages to using a composition notebook for your ISN. So at this time, facilitators, you can pause the video here, go ahead and allow people to find their full moon buddy. And what you're going to do is create a T-chart, much like the one we did with the left and right hand sides of the brain. Facilitators, if you will model that for them to show them how that works. And list as many advantages and disadvantages that you can think of when it comes to composition notebooks. If you're not sure what a composition notebook is, your facilitator may have one to model for you, but those are the smaller notebooks with the black and white covers on them. So think about how you might utilize a composition notebook and what are the benefits and limitations of that model. Go ahead and pause the video here, and once you're done discussing with your full moon buddy, you will share out with your facilitators. Here's an example of one left and right hand side advantage, disadvantage. This is a left hand assignment since it is based on the student's creativity. And at the bottom you'll see there's some additional ideas. So anytime you have a problem or a solution or some advantages, what are some additional things you could do? Those are great things for your kids to think about. It's what we call extension. So just keep in mind that there's no right or wrong way to do this. Composition notebooks are just one of many ways that you can do interactive notebooks. But what we're going to have you do right now is go ahead and switch back to your new moon buddy and not only discuss but share the things that you had written in your T-chart with the advantages and disadvantages. Facilitators, once they're done showing each other how things turned out with their other moon buddy, then they can return back to their seats. So go ahead and pause the video here, allow them to repair up with their new moon buddy, and then have them come back once they've done that. That should take about 5 minutes. So this is why composition notebooks work really well. They're different from spirals. They have more paper. They're sturdy. It's less likely kids are going to rip out pages. There's no wires. But if you have spiral notebooks, you can add duct tape to the back. That kind of takes that problem away. You can get them at Walmart and Target pretty readily. I advise that you pick up a few for kids that maybe can't find one. But you can have kids, you know, if you get them for 10 cents on the dollar, then you can have them give you a dime if you want to. I used to just provide notebooks for kids that were struggling to find them or just struggling in general if I really wanted my class to go well, because it was all about their success, not really about the notebooks. So just some things to keep in mind. This is the end of the composition notebook setup section, and facilitators, if you'll go ahead and move on to part 3, we'll continue our exploration with interactive notebooks.